Hey there, plant explorers. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to get up close and personal with the amazing world of plants.
That's right. We're going to uncover how they grow from a tiny seed to a towering tree.
And we've got our notes ready from science class, so let's dive in.
Yeah.
Okay, first up, roots. We got to figure out what's the deal with roots. Like, what's the difference between a carrot and the grass in my backyard?
Ah, good question. The answer is in the types of roots they have. You see a carrot, it has one main root that grows deep down.
Like a straw almost?
Exactly, like a
Yeah.
long straw sucking up water. We call this a taproot.
So that's how they get so big and juicy.
Yep. Even when it's dry up top, that taproot is reaching way down deep for water.
Makes sense. Now, what about grass?
Grass, that's a whole different story. They have something called fibrous roots.
Fibrous.
Yeah, think of it like a bunch of tiny strings all spread out every which way.
Oh, so they're like soaking up water from everywhere.
Exactly, from the
Yeah.
top layer of the soil, which is why you got to water your lawn more often than you water your carrots.
Interesting. So tap roots are for deep water and fibrous roots are for quick water.
You got it.
But hold on. My notes say that ginger and potatoes, they grow underground, but they aren't actually roots. What's going on there?
Ah, yeah, those are tricky. Ginger and potatoes, those are actually underground stems.
Stems. But stems are like the plant's highway, right? They carry water and food up and down.
Exactly. And sometimes they even store extra food like a pantry.
So ginger and potatoes are like the plant's secret stash of snacks.
You could say that.
That's so cool. And speaking of stems, some stems like tree trunks, those are super strong and woody, but others like the stems of a climbing vine, they're much weaker and need to lean on something for support.
That's true. It all depends on what the plant needs to survive.
Right. Like a cactus needs a thick stem to store water in the desert. Now let's move up from the ground and talk about leaves. Have you ever noticed how most leaves are green?
Well, that's because they're filled with a special ingredient called chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. Now that rings a bell.
It's like a plant superhero cape. Chlorophyll helps leaves capture sunlight.
And turn it into energy.
Exactly. It's like each leaf has tiny solar panels soaking up that sunshine power and turning it into food.
That's amazing. It's like magic.
Kinda, but we call it photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. That's right. So leaves are like tiny food factories. But how does the food get from the leaves to the rest of the plant? Does it have tiny delivery trucks?
Not quite. Remember those stems we talked about? They act like the plant's delivery system, carrying the food from the leaves to all the other parts. The roots, the flowers, even the fruits.
Wow, it's all connected.
It is. Plants are amazing.
They are. And speaking of amazing, you know what else is cool? We're going to find out all about flowers and fruits in the next part of our deep dive. All right, plant adventurers, welcome back. Get ready to be dazzled because we're talking about flowers.
Ah, yes, flowers, nature's fireworks.
Exactly. So many colors, so many shapes, and those amazing smells.
They sure know how to put on a show.
They do. But why all the effort? Why are flowers so colorful and smell so good? My notes say something about attracting pollinators. What are pollinators?
Well, pollinators are like tiny helpers that help plants make seeds. You see, they're attracted to those bright colors and those sweet smells. And when they visit the flower to get nectar, some pollen from the flower sticks to them.
Pollen. What's that?
Think of it like tiny dust that contains the plant's baby seeds.
Oh. So when the pollinator, like a bee, flies to another flower, some of that pollen rubs off and helps make new seeds.
Exactly. It's like a special delivery service for baby plants.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So flowers need help from bees and butterflies and all those little creatures to make seeds.
They do. It's a team effort.
Cool. So what happens after a flower is pollinated?
That's when the real magic happens. The flower starts to transform into a fruit.
Wait a minute. You mean like all fruits come from flowers? Even a
It's-
watermelon?
You got it. The fruit is like a protective case for the seeds.
A protective case. That's interesting.
Yeah, some fruits, they have one big seed, like a mango, and others have lots of tiny seeds, like a watermelon or a strawberry.
So when we eat a fruit, we're actually eating the plant's way of protecting its seeds.
That's exactly right.
Wow, that's
Yep.
so cool. But how does a tiny seed grow into a whole new plant?
Ah, well, let's imagine you plant a tiny seed in the soil.
Okay, I'm imagining it.
Now, when that seed gets water, air, and sunshine, it starts to wake up and grow.
It wakes up.
Yeah, first a tiny root pops out, kind of like a little leg searching for water.
And then what happens?
Then a little shoot pushes its way up towards the sunlight.
It's like the seed is reaching for the sky.
Exactly. And as that shoot grows taller, it starts to develop leaves, which can then make food through photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis, our favorite.
Right. And the whole cycle begins again.
It's like a never-ending plant party.
You could say that. And each part of the plant plays an important role in this amazing cycle of life.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
We've learned so much about plants today, from their roots to their flowers and fruits, and don't forget those amazing pollinators.
They're the best.
But there's still one more mystery to uncover. In the next part of our deep dive, we're going to zoom in on the incredible process of photosynthesis. All right, plant detectives, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. We've explored roots, stems, leaves, flowers, even fruits.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have, but there's one amazing superpower we haven't talked about yet. Photosynthesis. It's like the plant's secret recipe for turning sunlight into food.
It's true. Photosynthesis, it's happening all around us in every green leaf. It's how plants make their own food, and it's what keeps them and us alive.
Okay, so we know plants need sunlight to grow. But how do they actually turn that sunlight into food? I mean, I can't just stand in the sun and expect a sandwich to appear.
Well, you're not a plant. Plants, they have a special ingredient in their leaves called chlorophyll, remember? That's what gives them their green color. And it acts like a tiny solar panel capturing that sunlight energy.
So chlorophyll, it's like a plant's secret weapon for catching sunshine.
Exactly. Imagine chlorophyll is like a master chef inside each leaf. It takes that sunlight energy, combines it with water that the roots absorb from the soil and carbon dioxide that the leaves breathe in from the air.
Wait, plants breathe air too?
They sure do. They need carbon dioxide to make their food just like we need oxygen to breathe.
And guess what? They release back into the air. Oxygen.
That's right. Plants are like tiny oxygen factories cleaning the air and giving us the air we need to breathe. Isn't that amazing?
It is super amazing. So what happens to the food the plant makes?
Well, the plant uses some of it for energy to grow, just like we eat food to get energy. And this food, it's a type of sugar called glucose.
So glucose is like plant food.
Exactly. And just like we store extra food in our pantries, plants store extra glucose in their roots, their stems, and their fruits.
So that's why carrots are sweet and apples are juicy. It's all that stored up plant energy.
Exactly. And remember, when we eat fruits and vegetables, we're getting energy from the sun that the plant captured through photosynthesis.
Wow. We've learned so much about plants today. We explored their roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits, and we discovered their amazing ability to make food from sunlight. It's like they have superpowers.
They really do. And next time you see a plant, remember all the amazing things that are happening inside, from the tiniest root to the tallest leaf.
So a big thank you to all the amazing plants out there for making our world so green, so beautiful, and so full of life.
And a big thank you to you for joining us on this deep dive into the wonderful world of plants. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep learning about the amazing world around you.